This is FilmWise, and let the Force be with you. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It's been a long time since we've seen a Star Wars movie. Okay, now before I begin, let me give you my quick thoughts on the Star Wars movies. Episode 1, terrible. Episode 2, even worse. Episode 3, I actually like that prequel. Episode 4, a good movie. Episode 5, I don't find it as amazing as people would say it, but it's still good in its own right. Episode 6, it's pretty darn good, even though that people say it's lesser than the other films. Okay, so now we get to Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Now, okay, just pretty much like everybody else, I'm not going to put out spoilers, but I actually will be putting out a little bit of spoilers during the middle of this review. So first, I will take out what I think of the film first, and then I will bring out my spoilers a little later, so I'll make sure that there's a time slot for it. Okay, so The Force Awakens. So if you've pretty much seen the trailers of the movie, you pretty much know the basic story. It's about these rebels known as Rey and Finn who team up and try to help and stop this new republic from taking over the world. So they team up with Han Solo, Princess Leia, and while this is happening, they find that this robot, BB-2, has part of a map to Luke Skywalker and where is he hidden. But first, they need to fight this new kind of Darth Vader. I forget his name, and I know the name that he has, but I will not really talk about it right now. So, yeah, that's the basic story. So, what are my thoughts? Well, let me tell you off that I really love this film. I mean, do I find it better than the original trilogy? It all depends. It all really depends, but for me, I just love this film like crazy. I mean, the special effects, being practical effects, were amazing. The acting and the characters were incredible. I mean, I haven't seen this in a long time in Star Wars, and I want to tell you that I have seen all the films last year, so obviously I'm not really too big on Star Wars, but after seeing all those films, I think I'm pretty much gonna be big, you know, when seeing the next films that are coming next year and the other year before that. So, let me tell you right now, like, I was hyped like everyone else, but of course, I wanted to keep it basic. I wanted to make sure that I treated this film evenly like any other film. I tried to make sure I still had my critiquing skills for this movie. So I try to be neutral as possible. But then when the opening credit crawl came up, let me tell you, I just exploded with joy. That's pretty much how it is, you know, you get crazy after you see that credit crawl. So, like I said, the things I like about this film, like the effects, they're amazing. The characters are really good. And I feel that Rey, the person who plays Rey, steals the show because she is such an amazing character that really just starts out something similar to Luke, but she just really evolves in this story. She really does. And Finn, this character Finn is just really cool as well. Even though at first I kind of have a little problem with him during the beginning of the movie. I thought he was just going to be this ordinary guy that's going to be just part of the sidekick team. But no, he actually does stuff in this movie and it's really done well. Okay, so are there any complaints about this film? For one thing, I think people will eventually start to realize this, you know, when they're doing their reviews, but there are a few problems that I do have with the movie. First off, this is one complaint. I feel that the villain of the movie, even though he started out very, very well, I just felt that this is supposed to be the new Darth Vader. Okay, let me explain. I can tell you that the first 2 acts in this movie, when it reaches the beginning and middle, he's incredible. He is really, really freaky. When I really saw him, he actually felt like a threatening villain. But then something happens in the 3rd part, and I'm not going to reveal it right now because it's not Spoilers Corner yet. So, like I said, this villain, I felt that he was kind of weak. I mean, I've heard praise about this guy, but I mean, his acting is good. I love his acting, but I felt that there was something lacking during the 3rd act. And yeah, that's really a problem for me. So yeah. Second problem I have is that while the special effects are very good, and J.J. Abrams does a well done job making sure that it's the pure practical effects from the original Star Wars movies, some of the effects can get a little cheap. Like, from what I understand, there's this one scene in the movie where I think everyone already knows already, there's this kind of motion capture. Like, there's this motion capture character, and at first you don't really, it really doesn't bother you, but then you start to look at it and yeah, it kind of really does feel fake mixturing in with all these incredible effects, and of course even a little bit of CGI. Even the CGI was kind of better than this. So that's pretty much another complaint of mine. I also felt that some parts of the story kind of didn't make any sense, and in a way, in my sense, I felt that it was kind of a rehash of A New Hope. In my perspective, it just felt like a rehash of A New Hope. But, you know, during every single Star Wars film, I don't think that's a major complaint, because with, you know, films like Back to the Future, they kind of do rehash things, so it's not really anything. I don't even think this is, like, really a reveal. I think people are expecting this, but it's pretty much how I feel in my opinion. Okay, so pretty much I'm done talking about this. Like, you know, if you've seen the movie, then you can pretty much continue on in Spoilers Corner. But if you haven't, please stop this video right now and click in the link in the description if you want to hear my grading of this film in this time slot below. If you want to hear my final thoughts, then pretty much get to this time slot, because now it's time for Spoilers Corner. Okay, so few things put out. Let's see. First thing, Han Solo dies. J.J. Abrams, you're awesome, but that has got to be the most ignorant, most risky thing, the most biggest middle finger fuck you to the fans of Star Wars. Killing off Han Solo? Are you insane? Are you insane? And the way they kill him off is a little lame, actually, because for one thing, we find out that the villain of the movie is Han Solo and Princess Leia's son. Yeah, and his name is Ben. Ooh, threatening name. So, yeah, and the way they do it, like, there's this scene that kind of reminds me something of The Empire Strikes Back, and, like, they go into this point where eventually Han Solo's trying to tell him, you know, just trust me and I'll help you. And it kind of leads to the point of the problem that I have with the villain. Like, the moment he takes off his mask, I'm just like, this is the bad guy of the movie? I mean, his performance is great, but, like, I wish there was more to it, because I mean, seriously, really they couldn't do something with his face, because he pretty much just looks like a punk rock star. I mean, I can literally see this guy probably facing a rock band or something like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Like, this could be a Scott Pilgrim character. Like, this is just strange, like, we find a villain like this. And the moment that Han Solo is telling him to go, like, help decide to be on his side, to be on the light side, there's just this point where, Daddy, I'm just so afraid. I just want to get this pain away. And so to get rid of his pain, he kills Han Solo. Like, he does this in such a pussy move. Like, he didn't feel threatening at all. And when he was trying to be threatening, it's just really stupid. Okay. Second major thing, second major thing is that we find that Luke Skywalker's in this movie. Now, from what I understand, many of you, if you've seen other reviews, you can see that Luke Skywalker is not talked much in about these conversations of the reviews. But let me just give you straight and out. He appears in the end of the movie. And you know what happens? Like, he just... Okay, it's like every single old master cliche. Like, okay, what do we do in this scenario when we find someone who hasn't been around for a long time? Oh, okay, let's see. Okay, we get him in a hood. We get him in a hood, and then we just have him, like, not show his face and just don't even bother turning around, just looking at the ground and just, like, pretty much this is what I'm going to have to do with the rest of my life. I can't do anything else because, I'm not a Jedi anymore. And then as soon as, like, Rey's character comes, he's like he's so shocked. Like, there's this moment where it's just sinking in, but, like, it goes on. Like, my brother kind of told me this, and at first it didn't bother me, but in a way it kind of does, like, a little bit bothers me, but I can understand what J.J. Abrams was trying to do. He was trying to make this sink in, because this is the first time now, after a long time, we're seeing Luke Skywalker. But, like, as soon as Rey pulls out his, like, lightsaber, it's just like, dramatic pause for over 7 minutes, maybe 20, and it goes on, and then after that the credits roll. Like, what? Like, this is, I mean, I can understand, like, there's another movie coming out, so understandably this is how it is, but the way they did it, like, it just felt overly cheesy in a way. Like, I'm not saying, like, it's bad. No. I'm saying that it's kind of, I mean, I understand. Sink it in. It needs to take time to sink in, knowing that Rey is meeting Luke Skywalker, the Luke Skywalker, in his old age. But, I don't know, I just felt that sinking in was just a little bit too much compared to before. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much, I think I have one more thing. Yeah, so another thing out in this movie is that, yes, we do see, like, Chewbacca, R2-D2, we even see C-3PO in this movie, and let me tell you, he gives out one of the best kinds of interruptions, like how he is. He acts like him, and there's this, like, one funny scene with Princess Leia and Han Solo meeting each other once again after such a long time, and he just comes in and interrupts, like, saying, "Oh, hello, sir. It has been a while, a very, very long time. Oh, and probably you haven't recognized me because I have this red arm now. So yeah, I'm pretty much like Luke Skywalker." I don't know, it's just how it is. It's just that really, really funny scene, and it just pretty much started out really good. I thought it was incredible, like, how they started that way. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I can't really say anything else. Sorry if it's not too deep. So yeah. Now we get into my final thoughts. Now, my final thoughts in The Force Awakens, I think it's way better than the prequels in every way. It definitely is better than the first Star Wars movie, like New Hope, but it kind of is a little stuck, between competition between The Empire Strikes Back. I feel that I need to see this movie again to see if I really can confirm that. In a way, I actually also do feel like it's better than Return of the Jedi, but for some reason, I feel that the charm of the original films will never, will ever die. But I don't know if there'll be a charm for The Force Awakens. Time will tell. I can say that all these characters, I love them. I love the new universe that they're entering in. I love J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams, you're awesome. And the first time knowing that Disney had to do a lot of things in this movie, they're pretty much part of Star Wars now. I mean, I'm not even kidding. My uncle, after I saw the movie, he gave me this Star Wars The Force Awakens soundtrack. And look at the soundtrack. Look in there. The CD right there. That literally says Walt Disney Records. Pretty much right there, Disney is trying to slap their face in Star Wars. But like I said, it's really, really cool. So yeah. Star Wars The Force Awakens, I feel, is definitely a perfect continuation, and I can't wait for more films. I can't give this much too much out. It's pretty much a good film. Go see it if you haven't, and if you've already seen it, go see it again. It's definitely worth seeing it twice. And my final rating, I give Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, an A. Alright. Black Belt Dragon signing out, and I'll see you on my next FilmWise.